To God be the glory. I want to welcome you to the program Gospel Truth on Glorious Vision Television. My name is Samuel Maradesa. I believe you know when I am on screen for this program, it's a different time entirely. It's a time where we probe into issues, certain issues that we feel we want people to get understanding and clarity about. On this program, we don't hold anything back. We try as much as possible to make our guests to be on that hot seat and bring out the truth so that at the end of the day, we will know that the truth has been reached. And remember, on this program, the Bible has always been our standard. This is another moment of truth on this program. Wherever you are, sit back, relax. It is going to be interesting. Yes, today we want to talk about a very direct issue, and it's for members of the Apostolic Church. You would understand this better. And even if you're not a member of the Apostolic Church, you could also learn one or two things from our discussion for today. This week, I want to talk about the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship. The Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship. That is TACNCF. And with me in the studio, I have Pastor Seyi Osuntayo, who is the National Director of the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship, and also an active member of the youth movement in the Apostolic Church. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Femi, for bringing me back here again on this your hot seat.
Yes, it's another moment of truth. I believe you're well ready for us now.
Well,
yeah. Let's start from the angle of the youth movement in the Apostolic Church. So, how far so far about the youth movement in the church? The church just had the first national youth movement convention. So, if you would rate that, what would your rating be from that program?
you can only ascribe all glory to God. For years, there have been a clamor, a call, an appeal that there should be a youth movement. If there is a men's movement, a women's movement, then the gender, the group, the sect called youth should also have a movement. There was an argument that the youth movement is embedded in the witness movement. And that argument to some of us felt that, well, that group will be changed.
Okay.
If you say they are part of witness movement, or if you say it's embedded in witness movement, the biblical instruction is for all Christians to witness. So I have traveled, I served in Akwa Ibom State, I worked in Igbo land. When I was serving in Akwa Ibom State, I was a member of Apostolic Church in 69 on Road Uyo. So I participated fully in Apostolic Church across the nation, except the Maritime and Cross River. Okay. So I saw what witness movement is in those places, that the witness movement comprised even of old people. You will see them in this white and blue, as aged as they are. So if they have all age grade in the witness movement, why should we in London Territory now look at the young people only as the witness movement? Witness movement remains for all of us. The youth are strong enough to be the strength of witness movement. But that notwithstanding, they should have their own movement that will also cater for them as men and women are being catered for. So I was more than happy when the youth movement came to life. Okay. And also more than happy that we have our inaugural youth movement convention.
Well, that's all. God be the glory about that. I think on this program, I have been able to bring in Presiding Elder Isaac Hamelby, who is the National Coordinator of the Tax Fund.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I asked him then was about how tax fund and the youth movement and the church, how they relate. So, because we've always had this issue of when young ones leave for the fellowship on campuses, they become firebrands, so to say. And by the time they return, we see them finding it uncomfortable back home. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of them leave the church. Yeah. So I know you're now going to be speaking from three angles now, as an active member of the youth movement and also having a very good understanding of the operations of tax fund. Now, the post-tax fund, which is the TACNCF. So let's talk about that tax fund youth movement before we get there.
Incidentally, I am a tax fundite.
Okay, it's subject to a lot of criticisms because some people are of the opinion that tax fund is for students. It must be on campus.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a tax fundite.
Okay.
Being an alumni of Ogun State University, and we were the founding member of tax fund in our university. I was the organizing secretary.
Okay.
And the spirit of tax fund is there. Yes, there are schools of thought, which I also belong to, that there should be, the tax fund is about the students. Like the NANS is for the students, you understand? But for tax fund also, we have students who had left, then we are still participating as alumni of tax fund. So, and as alumni of tax fund, we are still very active. We go back to our university when we have reunion with those people there. We give them advice and whatsoever. However, that's not the issue now. The issue is tax fund and the youth movement.
Yes.
The youth movement is the movement of the church. Tax fund is the movement of the school. So every tax fundite is expected to be an integral part of the youth movement. As I was when I left school, I returned home and I participated as a youth, though there was no youth movement, you are called witness movement. Yes. But the Yoruba version of witness movement then was Egbe Odo, that is the youth group. So I participated fully. And I brought what I learned from tax fund into the church. Nevertheless, when the youth convocation started, at the time of Pastor Seyi Osuntayo, I was a member of the executive of the youth convocation. I was the assistant secretary and the program secretary for the youth convocation. And we knew how much we sat with Baba to tell him that the challenge that the youth convocation must solve is the participation of tax fund in their various assemblies. Okay. Because there were a lot of opposition for tax fund. Then, pastors on one side, elders on the other side, tax fund on the other side. So there was no kind of synergy. Our fathers were not able to use the strength of the tax fund, the knowledge of the tax fund. So everybody sees each other as working at variance. But the present youth movement is not doing that. Maybe when we get to that, we will talk about it. Okay. The tax fund, they are part of the youth. The youth movement are also, when you look at this convention, you see that the tax fund participated fully.
Yes.
To the extent that tax fund were invited to come and give their choir and their song rendition. Yes. The university students were called to come and give their choir rendition. So everybody was brought in to work and everybody participated. So there was a great synergy and nobody is seeing anybody as a competitor because everything is complementary and we are working on complementary role. And that also come to play in the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's get to the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship. A lot of people are of the opinion that the NCCF, when we talk about corpers, those that are true from the universities and are serving. So the first 3 weeks being on that camp and everything. So it is the NCCF is a well-recognized body of Christian fellowship, Corpers Christian Fellowship. So people coming together, fellowshipping, having the papa and the likes.
Mama.
And the mama. So, and now is this TACNCF, is it a new development? Let's just start from there. Is it a new development or something that has been in existence? Because I don't think I know of any director for that before you.
Okay. The Apostolic Church Corpers Fellowship is not a new development.
Okay.
But what is new about it is the acceptance of the church to coordinate the activities of the fellowship. Why did I say it's not new to the church? You know, tax fund already have a mechanism in place to assist the Apostolic Church students who are going into NYSC. At our time, we didn't benefit from it because at our time, tax fund was just coming up. Okay. But what we saw as a problem at our time, solution was provided for when we were at the situation to provide that solution. So that is why I have to give kudos to tax fund for so many gaps that they were able to fill for the church. Other denominations have their Corpers Fellowship. There is Redeemed Corpers Fellowship, there is Catholic Corpers Fellowship. Every other big churches, they do have. NCCF is a mother body. Okay. So nobody can compete with NCCF. Nobody can alternate for NCCF. It's a parent body of all Corpers Fellowship. And the NYSC will also recognize NCCF. So whosoever that wants to get into the camp, whosoever or whichsoever Christian confession or Christian church that has his Corpers Fellowship that wants to enter into the camp must also go in through NCCF. So there is no way anybody can compete. But when the youth movement started, the national president spoke and said his concern about Apostolic Church young people who are going to NYSC. Okay. How much welfare is being provided for them. And that is what gave birth to the Corpers Fellowship of the Apostolic Church Nigeria under the youth movement. The youth movement has so many directorates. One of the directorates is the NYSC, Directorate of NYSC Affairs. That directorate is to cater for the welfare of the youth who are in and who are doing their NYSC, who are on NYSC scheme. Okay. And that is why the directorate is established. And it has given a strong hold for TACNCF.
Okay, thank you very much. As the national director, so how, wouldn't ask how you came about emerging as the national director. I think it must have been a nomination.
Well, I think it's a nomination. And I just received a call to do one or two things, and I did them. I received a call from the national youth leader to come up with a paper for NYSC. Okay. And I got people together. Tax for night, of course. Okay. And after the paper was submitted to them, the National Youth Movement Committee went through it, and they said, okay, you have done it, so run it for us. Okay.
Let us look at when you were told to look into, put up a paper for the Corpers. So, and you said this TACNCF has been in existence.
Yes.
And it's just receiving an acceptance of the church.
Yes.
When you looked into it, what were the things you saw that had been on ground before you now deciding on modifying your operations, which we will still talk about?
Well, what was on ground was tax fund Corpers Fellowship.
Okay.
It was on ground, and they have a coordinator. Mm-hmm. They have a coordinator, national coordinator. The national coordinator is Elder Bola Ogunkola.
Okay.
Elder Bola Ogunkola is an elder in Sokoto. So what I needed to do was I did not even know until recently that he is the national coordinator. But what I need to know is to see what was in operation. They have the zonal coordinator who is running the zones, and they have some state coordinator. Okay, it's not in all states that it was working, because there are still some challenges of logistics and also challenge of supports. You understand? And so this challenge of support is what the national youth movement will look into now, or is looking into, because we were able first to have territorial coordinators, so that those territorial coordinators will operate with the territorial youth leaders. Every territory have their youth leaders, and every territory also nominated their territorial coordinators. And those territorial coordinators are taxed for nights.
Okay, one of the challenges that we have heard and issues about tax fund and especially corpers had been the fact that a lot of people will say maybe on the journey for the camp, the orientation camp, sometimes they find themselves in strange places, which is obvious, and they want to attach to the church, the mother church, and many times it becomes difficult because of acceptance. They will look at them and say no, and some people will go to other denominations who will accept them, and sometimes we've had situations of other religion also embracing them and accommodating them for that little time that they want to pass over there. So did you also know about this challenge? And that will now lead us to the next issue of what you plan to do about it.
What I will only tell you about that is that is becoming a history now.
Okay.
That's becoming a history now. So I don't want us to look back, go back to the history, because we are surmounting that. I think I sent some pictures to you. Okay. And those pictures I sent, I don't know if it can be played. You will see the acceptance in the state that we are operating now, because we can't, it's not, what we actually plan to do is to run a pilot project. Okay. And we discovered that at the beginning, we are running beyond a pilot project and we are having a success story. In fact, some states where we are not even thinking we are going to get results, we are getting results. Sokoto, the area superintendent, was on ground to receive the core members. There were many. And he charged them, they snapped pictures, they did all those things, and their logistics was provided. That is in Lona territory now. Okay. Even in Akwa Ibom territory, we could see Ogun State sent us reports, Kogi State sent us reports from maritime territory, both in Bayelsa and Rivers State. So it's becoming a thing of the past. We are having stories. So even that has been addressed now that the church has accepted the Corpers Fellowship. So the challenge of superintendent not supporting, this is not happening, pastors not supporting, is becoming a thing of the past. Okay.
As the national director,
yes, sir?
So you've just been made the national director. I know you sent me a document talking about your plans, and which we would like you to explain. So what are the things you plan to do? You have your vision, you have the mission and everything. I would like you to, let's state them one after the other, and you explain it so that people will find a way of seeing that, okay, I think they are on ground and they are set running.
Okay. TACNCF is planning, or let me say, our vision is to raise responsible generation. Okay. Responsible, reliable, holy, and peculiar generation for nation building. Okay. And that we have started with our mission statement to mobilize, galvanize, equip, and launch out to the Apostolic Church youths for development, evangelism through welfare, training, and human capacity building and empowerment. So, and that's we are doing. Our focus is on threefold: welfare, development, and evangelism.
Okay, let's look at each of them. Okay. Welfare. How do you plan?
Welfare is to take care of this responsible generation.
Okay.
That's it. There should be a family house provided
Okay.
for them. There should be, they should feel at home in a strange land or in a strange state. They should be welcomed. They should be integrated into the church. And whatsoever could be their needs should also be met at various grounds.
Okay.
That's about welfare.
About the welfare, okay.
About development is to develop all their intelligences: spiritual intelligence, physical intelligence, intellectual intelligence, and also emotional intelligence through training and capacity building. And when they are well equipped, then they will be able to go for the Great Commission evangelism, rural evangelism, contemporary urban evangelism, and all those works, social work for them to do. When they are in the place where they are, they can organize teachings for the young people there. They can raise other people up. They can be useful for the church. They can help the church to develop and also help people to see the light of Christ.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That has been a very impactful one, and especially as we've started this discussion talking about the TACNCF, and that's about the Corpers Fellowship of the Apostolic Church. We're going on a short break right now. By the time we return, we'll continue our conversation with Pastor Seyi Osuntayo. Go nowhere and stay with us. Welcome back. The program is still Gospel Truth, and this is still Glorious Vision Television. And we are talking about issues on the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship. And we're with Pastor Seyi Osuntayo. He's the National Director of the Corpers Fellowship and NYC Affairs in the Apostolic Church Nigeria. You're welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
So before we went on the break, you told us about your mission, your vision, your mission, and the scope, saying that your scope is in threefold.
Yes.
And which are welfare, development, and evangelism. Saying welfare, it's about taking care of the responsible, reliable, holy, and peculiar generation for the kingdom task ahead. And the development is about developing the intelligences for nation building. And on evangelism is to achieve the kingdom mandate. And these are the threefolds of this directorate. So you've mentioned them. So can you tell us how the strategies that you plan to go about with executing all this, your scope?
Yeah. Our strategies are also in threefolds.
Okay.
For the welfare, we have our pre-camp activities for the welfare, or pre-camp strategies for the welfare. And that pre-camp activity is to get the NYSC candidates, those who are into the scheme, those who are going, we get them registered. There is a website that they will go into and fill a form. In that form, we will be able to look at the states everybody is sent to, and we will send those names to territorial. You know, in Apostolic Church, we run territories.
Territories, yes.
And all the states are under one territory or another. So we have our territorial coordinators who in turn coordinate the activities of the state. For example, the territory in Apostolic Church run independently. So it will be difficult for the national whatsoever, whosoever national to run with the states without going through the territory. So the TACNCF is also running through the Apostolic Church structure to make sure that what needs to get to the grassroots, get to the grassroots. So this registration is made, we send the names to the territorial coordinators, and territorial coordinators in turn discuss with their state coordinators who is sent to which state or another. So when that is done, they have their data already. They have their phone number already. So other fellowships are not allowed to go into the camp.
Okay. Yes.
Only SCCF
Yes, that's
have their appearance there. So in some states, some of our coordinators are also part of NCCF.
Okay.
So they use that to enter into the camp and see who they can see. And to those who cannot, we have our banners also and the vehicles around to convey them. So since they have known from here, when they are going, that they have enrolled, they have written their name, so they will also be on the lookout to have the Apostolic Church Christian Fellowship welcoming them. And so the coordinators that are on ground too, they know their way through. They know how to get them, and they get them. So it's at that level that the pre-camp activities end, and then they are taken into the church for onward.
Okay.
Even
the church, I want to comment from the church.
Even some states help them to be allocated to their place of primary assignments.
Okay. Okay, you mentioned the church. We'll still get back to allocation to state of primary assignments. The church, are you going to, is there going to be a church where they will meet and fellowship?
All right. They will fellowship in their, what do you call it, in their houses, in their fellowship houses.
Yes.
However, they are also encouraged to participate in the church when the church activities is going on. They have their own fellowship time.
Okay. I want to understand.
They also have to participate, because part of it is to integrate them. Part of it is to also allow them to be part of the church and to also help the church. Church is giving. They should also give back to the church.
Okay, I want to understand the place of the church that you mentioned. Is there a particular church assigned to accommodate, or not even accommodate, to, that is assigned for them, that this is where all corpers in the states will fellowship, or any church, the Apostolic Church, available around?
Okay. It depends on the local government where they are put.
Okay.
Now there is no enough logistics.
Okay.
Now, you know, we are just starting.
Yes.
There is no enough houses or rooms to scatter them. Let me take Lagos, for example. You know, when you are in Lagos, you are posted to so many local governments. Some can be a local government, you have a local government, and so on and so forth. Yes. So in Lagos, the only place where they have accommodation handy is Oloruda. You understand? The Lona Territorial Youth Movement leader has gotten accommodation. That's Pastor Seyi Osuntayo. Has gotten accommodation for them in Oloruda.
So you're saying there is a sure accommodation for corpers in Lagos State who can find their ways into the convention grounds?
Yes, even before the TACNCF started.
Okay.
You understand? Lona, Lagos, through Pastor Seyi Osuntayo, and Lagos is the Lagos Metro Youth and Witnesses leader, and it's also the Lona Youth leader, has already arranged accommodation The national chairman has given them an accommodation.
Okay.
So that is running.
Like how many people can they accommodate per time?
Well, that can only be said by the coordinator.
Okay, all right.
You understand?
Right.
That can only be said by the coordinator. But it has been there and people have been living there.
Oh, that's great.
In fact, a core member called us in the convention. He wasn't privy to the information. The information hasn't gone around until he got to the National Youth Meeting and he was told that there is Corpers Fellowship. So he had to call and we invited him to come and meet Lagos State Coordinator there. Understand? So he came to meet him there, and so they will have made the arrangements for whatsoever he wanted to have.
Even though you are in Lagos,
Yes.
And you are also the national director,
Yes.
so there is still the Lagos coordinator.
Yes, there are states coordinators.
Okay.
I am not,
Okay.
my own coordinatorship is not for Lona territory.
Okay.
I coordinate everyone,
All right, sir.
except the information given to me even from Lagos.
All right, sir.
You understand? Because you have to understand the complex nature and also the sensitivity of apostolic system.
Okay.
You understand? So every area runs their system. So we also allow NYSC now. I'm a national director. There are territorial coordinators. Territorial coordinators run the affairs of the territory. Though they give me information, we have our platform where we have platform for territorial coordinators. We also have a platform for states coordinator. State coordinator can also get to me through that platform. But I won't address them. Even when they get to me, the solution I'm going to give is not going to be directly. It's going to be through their territorial coordinator. So that one can also monitor whatsoever that is happening.
Okay, let's get back to the issue of this Corpers Fellowship and the NCCF. So what's the relationship going to be like? Is it a parallel program? I'm a member of Tax Fund or the Apostolic Church. I do not belong to NCCF. Or I would like you to clear that. What's the relationship like?
Relationship is not different from what operates on campus.
Okay.
On campus, there is Varsity Christian Fellowship.
Yes.
And there are denominational Christian Fellowship. It is believed or seen in varsity that every Christians are member of that Varsity Christian Fellowship.
Okay.
The same thing. It's difficult for any other denomination to get to NYSC without NCCF. So how will we run a parallel?
Okay.
The reason for denominational Corpers Fellowship is to cater for the members of their denomination first, and also to make them to do evangelism. You understand? NCCF is not a church.
Yes, it is not.
It's not a church. It's just bringing everybody together. But every denomination must cater. They are the children of that denomination. So they have to cater for them. That is why we have TACNCF as other denominations also have. So we can run parallel with NCCF.
Okay, thank you very much for clearing that. So looking at your camp and post activities, the second point here, you say mobilizing and conveyance of core members from camp to the family house.
Yes.
So is that on ground or something you're planning?
That's what they did. That's the report we sent, that I sent to you on picture. Yeah. They were like in Sokoto, like in the places where we are running, like in Akwa Ibom, they were conveyed from the camp to the church. Okay. If the only building that is available or the only space that is available for them is the area headquarters, that should be done. Okay. So those who sent a report to us, that's what they did. They conveyed them. In fact, they did banner. They put the banner by the vehicle, and even to the extent that, like in Akwa Ibom, to the extent that some people who called the state coordinator in Akwa Ibom, he went to pick them from airport to the camp.
Okay.
You understand? He went to pick them from the airport to the camp. Those who got his number. A lot of people called me. A lot of core members called me. I received a lot because my phone number was available. They called me, and I also have the phone numbers of all territorial coordinators handy to send it to them. Okay. Please call this person. Please call this person. So, and we are getting results, at least for now. within the limit, within the available resources.
Okay.
Getting results.
Resources, talk about resources. That's the next question.
Yeah.
So I know this is not a directorate that you can run without finances.
Yeah.
So let's talk about financing it. You have quite a lot of plans here which are money intensive.
Yes.
Accommodation, don't just get them without money.
Yeah.
Conveying people. So how do you manage that?
Okay. First, we need to know that the national body, you know, I report to the national.
Yeah.
The national body do not give territory money. It is from bottom. You understand?
That's typical of the apostolic
No,
church.
that is how it runs.
Okay.
That is where Nigeria has problem.
Okay.
Every state governor is expecting the federal government to send money to them. No, it's not run where real federalism takes place.
Okay.
And apostolic church is running the same thing. It is the territory that helps. The national is not taking charge of the responsibilities of the territories. The territories run their area. They run their ministers. What the national does is to mobilize, to bring the unity, the national unity, to send ideas, to mobilize ideas, and to also help the church to grow.
Okay, sir.
So you don't expect the national to send money. Now, the territory have accepted that there should be Corpers Fellowship. So the territories are responsible for the success and failure of the Corpers Fellowship.
Okay. If, as the national director, you got reports that maybe a particular territory or state is not doing so well, and maybe they are not taking the responsibilities that you expect them to carry so seriously. So how would you intervene in such matter?
Okay.
So especially if it has to do with financial issues. They said, okay, we don't have the financial means to cater for this as you have planned.
Okay. It's a directorate under the National Youth Movement.
Okay.
So I report to the National Youth Movement Committee, which has all territorial leaders. Okay. All territorial youth leaders. For example, in this meeting, in the last meeting, I gave them reports. The territorial leaders were on seat. I told them the territory that wasn't acting well, and the territories that are acting well, they are on seat, and I showed them their score sheet. So they already know the score sheet, but I have to reiterate it and ask them. They are the ones that have appointed their territorial youth leaders. Okay. So they should be handy to support. That's number one. Number two, the national youth leader, through the national president, also gets to the NEC members who are territorial chairmen.
Okay.
So that is the push we can give from here. Support your people, let it work. Support your people, let it work. But we can give finance.
Okay. Talking about the rural rugged, the evangelism part of it, which is always a massive one when it comes to youths, especially those corpers. Yes. So what are your plans? How do you plan to do that massive evangelical outreaches? All right.
Already, you know, tax funds are into rural evangelism. Yeah. And incidentally, the students who are going to NYSC are tax fundites. Yeah. And even their coordinators are tax fundites. So it is just a continuation of what they have been doing as students, now going into a camp. So even in those camps, or even in those states where they are going to work with the tax fund, with the students that are into evangelism, into rugged driver. It's a continuous thing. It's not something they are starting.
They're starting, okay.
You understand?
Yes.
It's something they are building on now. We are doing it not as students again. We are doing it now as core members. So it's not what we want to start. It's not what we want to do, but it's what we want to build on. So we just have this as a program for them to know what you are doing before, it must continue. And we also hope that this rugged evangelism will be brought into church, because the rugged evangelism is actually needed in the church. The church should stop having, the church is supposed to have 500 members, 600 members, should stop having 70, 80, 40, 20 members. And that is what TACNCF too will do to help the church, to build the church, to grow the church. Because when you evangelize these people, where are you bringing them to? Is it not to the apostolic church? So, and it's also what the church should also support for these people who are in their state at that particular time to help them to grow the church.
All right. Thank you very much for all those explanations. I know this program is more like a form of publicizing and making people aware of this. Talk about your publicity, sir. How well known is this new formation, so to call it? How well publicized is it?
Okay.
Does the average corper have an understanding of it, or even tax phonite who is about to go for service?
Okay. Publicity, yes, we are trying. Known, we will need to evaluate.
Okay.
You know, there is difference between publicizing and knowing, because you may be publicizing and people don't know you.
Yes.
If you are using the wrong method. We have designed a flyer that is going to go on air. That is an electronic flyer.
Okay.
We will also print some handy. In this National Youth Movement Convention, it was announced, and there was presence. We have also used social media, and we will continue to use social media. We got close to 100 core members that registered.
Oh, great.
Through the website. For me, it's a low mark for me, because do we say that we have just 100 young people who have gone for NYSC? No. So in that evaluation, I scored myself low.
Okay.
That, oh, guys, we still have more work to do. So we will continue to publicize it. This is also another form of publicity that we are doing here on JVTV. It will go on air, it will go on social media, it will go on YouTube. People will watch it and they will also know. So we will do more of publicity, and that I can assure you that we have good hands on that. We have the NYSC has people that are in positions to do certain things. So it's not all about me. It's not all about me.
Can you give us names of certain executives in this, and some? I'll need just 2 phone numbers.
Okay.
To read it out. I
have our rapporteur, who is our secretary.
Okay.
We call him. We use the word rapporteur in person of Assistant Pastor Solomon Atonda. His phone number is 0703 944 5360.
Okay.
0703 944 5360. And we have our PRO, Brother Otobong Ite. Otobong is in Akwa Ibom territory. Solomon Atonda is in Lona territory. Otobong number is 0703 888 6442. 0703 888 6442. And every territory, like I said, has their coordinator.
Okay. Igbo
territory has its coordinator in person of Apostle Ike Ikegachi. Lona territory, Elder Sunday Oluwole. Cross River territory, Elder Friday Ofem. Maritime territory, Brother Friday Ndigbo. And we have Akwa Ibom territory, Elder Insidebe Iyang. Also, the Tax Fund NYSC National Coordinator is also a member of the team in the person of Elder Bola Ogunkola. He is in Sokoto.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Lastly, as we wrap it up, is there any other information you would like to give out to people, or any other thing you would like to tell them as we wrap it up?
I would like to appeal to our fathers, our parents, our leaders, that we need your support to make this a success. We need your support financially. We need your support prayerfully. We need your support in all ramifications. NYSC scheme in Apostolic Church is a huge project that will require huge resource. So that's my appeal. Please come to our aid, come to our support in various states where you are, in various territory where you are. Whenever they call upon you, please answer.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And that is all we can take on this program for today. And we've been discussing about the issues on the Apostolic Church Nigeria Corpers Fellowship. And wherever you are as a corper, try as much as possible to reach out to those that are coordinating in your state or territory. And if the numbers we have mentioned, you could just reach out to those numbers. So I think you want to raise any.
Yes, I don't know whether you have my number there,
Okay.
but if you don't have it, let me also give them my number. My number is 0706 672 4804. 0706 672 4804. Don't flash me. You can send me a message, either WhatsApp or you call.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And that's all for today. Next week, we'll be back to bring up some other hot and relevant discussion topic to have, to do justice about them. Till we meet again, do have a blessed weekend. God bless you, and bye for now.